you guys will remember that last week, a court in the UK where Johnny Depp was taking a newspaper to court and suing them for libel that had basically printed Amber Heard's account of the events between Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, and he was suing the paper for libel. The outcome of that case was not what Johnny Depp was looking for. Not only did they reject his case and throw it out, the court went so far as to say that they believed that the evidence was so overwhelming against him that, in a rather rare move in the judge's decision and a statement the judge put out, they said that actually all the proof presented here didn't prove that Johnny Depp was a victim of libel. It actually proves, and he used the word proven, that the accusations against Depp are substantively true. That was not a good look for Johnny Depp. It's not what Johnny Depp wanted as an outcome of that case. And again, a civil libel case is much easier to win. It is so much more easy to win a civil libel case if you're the accuser, in which this case Johnny Depp was the accuser. It is far easier to win a civil libel case than it is a criminal case if you're the accuser or the prosecutor, because there's a much, much smaller threshold of proof that you have to meet. You don't have to meet 100% proof. You just got to meet 51%. And the result of that was not what Johnny Depp wanted. Well, I, at the time, said, when we brought up the topic of what do we think is going to be a result of this? Do we think Warner Brothers will let him go? What's going to happen? And I said at the time, I don't think Warner Brothers is going to do anything, Rob. I think what Warner Brothers is going to do is they're going to sit and wait until after the other civil case that Johnny Depp is pursuing right now. I think Warner Brothers is going to sit and wait until after that case has been settled. And if it goes in Johnny Depp's favor, I think Warner Brothers will do nothing and just keep working with Johnny Depp. And if the result of that case is the same as the UK case, I think they're going to cut bait with Johnny Depp. Well, I was wrong. Johnny Depp publicly made it aware that Warner Brothers has fired him. They basically, what happened was Johnny Depp has revealed in a post on his Instagram account that Warner Brothers basically asked him to leave. Warner Brothers basically asked him to leave. Let's take a look at this and let's read what Johnny Depp wrote. In light of recent events, I would like to make the following short statement. Firstly, I'd like to thank everybody who has gifted me with their support and loyalty. I have been humbled and moved by your many messages of love and concern, particularly over the last few days. Secondly, I wish to let you know that I have been asked to resign by Warner Brothers from my role as Grindelwald in The Fantastic Beasts, and I've respected and agreed to that request. Finally, I wish to say this. The surreal judgment of the court in the UK will not change my fight to tell the truth, and I confirm that I plan to appeal. My resolve remains strong, and I intend to prove that the allegations against me are false. My life and career will not be defined by this moment in time. Thank you for reading. Sincerely, Johnny Depp. So that's the statement put out by Johnny Depp. Well written, by the way. So Johnny Depp, basically Warner Brothers told him that we want to part ways. I was telling Rob before the show started that after we had done our episode about the UK court finding last week, and I said, I don't think Warner Brothers is going to do anything. Somebody we know reached out to me, who has, let's just say, relatively close to the situation, to let me know that I was wrong, that Warner Brothers has already done their own investigation, and they did not like what they found in their own investigation as it pertains to Johnny Depp, and that they are just waiting for a real court to make a public decision to basically give Warner Brothers the opening to part ways with Johnny Depp. Now, I didn't believe it, because that just doesn't line up with how Warner Brothers has operated. They tend to just stick their heads in the sand, as they did kind of with, or apparently what they did with Ezra Miller. They just stick their head in the sands and say, blah, 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 we don't see anything. We're not going to talk about anything. So I didn't believe that at the time. But here we are just days after the UK court and Warner Brothers, they've also said we need to part ways with Johnny Depp. Now, look, I want to emphasize a couple things here before we break this down a little bit. As I said last week, for the last year, I've had so many people writing to me and saying, rah, 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 John, why aren't you talking about these accusations against Johnny Depp? And at the same time, rah, 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 John, why are you talking about all these horrible things Amber Heard has done? And I've always said, the reason I am not talking about these things is because I wasn't there. I don't know. And I'm not so stupid that just because I read a couple of things on the internet, that means I know what's going on. So with this TMZ garbage, I'm going to stay out. And so for a year, I have stayed out of it because I don't know. I haven't seen, I wasn't there. I haven't seen all the evidence. I haven't seen any of that stuff. I'm just slightly intelligent enough to know how to tie my shoes and to wait to see what an actual court says about it. And we've got to remember, you and I and all of us, we need to remember that regardless of what we've read on the internet or what we've heard on the internet, there was a court that heard months of evidence and months of testimony that you and I have not seen or heard. This is why when in the comic books, when the superhero doesn't kill the villain because the superhero realizes it's not my place. I don't know the full story. This is a thing for the courts to decide. This is not for me to, I'm not judge, jury, and executioner, most superheroes say. This is for the courts to decide or whatever, because we know that things we see on the surface may not be as they appear with this much information. Rob, we often hear the term tip of the iceberg, right? Basically saying, if this is water level and you see an iceberg like this, really the iceberg is this big under the water. When it comes to legal proceedings, we have to be intelligent enough to know that we do not see the 90% of it that's under the surface. And that's why in our society, we let things go to court so that people can take months and present their arguments, present evidence, present their case, and then we let them decide. Does that mean judges and courts always get it right? Obviously not. That's why I said, I think we need to take a breath and wait to see what the American court now does. That's what I said last week, and I still think that, and I still believe that. But Rob, I got to tell you, it was discouraging to me as a member of society to, once we laid this out, I said, look, I wasn't there, so I don't know, but there was a court that heard months and months and months of evidence, testimony, and arguments and all that kind of stuff. And the conclusion they came to, having seen all that stuff that we haven't seen, was that not only has Johnny Depp failed to prove that there was libel committed against him, the proof actually shows that we believe that the accusations made against him are, in their terms, substantively true. Is that the word of God? No. Can courts be wrong? Yes. But I found it really discouraging with some of the messages I started getting from people going, the judge was paid off. The judge was paid off. It's like we're so stupid in this culture that we are so desperate to cling to what we want to be the truth that we will throw things. Now, listen, that's not to say that you can't still feel, you know what, I understand there was a court case, but I still don't buy it. I still don't buy it. There's nothing wrong with that. But to see some of the desperate thing, the judge was paid off. They paid off the judge. I was like, come on. Let's not be that dumb. Now, look, my position still has not changed. Personally, I want to see what the American court says. I want to see, since there's another trial coming, I'm still personally just like, let's see when it's in front of a different court and see what happens there. So I'm still believing that. But again, Warner Brothers conducted their own investigation. They saw the result of the UK case. In both cases, they felt that the amount of evidence and the proof that I am still not privy to all of it suggests that Johnny Depp did do the things he's accused of. I can't say that I know that that's true. I don't. But I believe in the system. That is sometimes wrong and sometimes fallible. But again, I'm not so dumb that I think that the few little bits of information that I've seen on the internet, and hey, I form certain opinions too when I see little bits of information on the internet. Absolutely, it's okay to form opinions, but I'm also then, beyond forming my own opinions, I understand well enough, because I'm dumb, but I'm not that dumb. I understand well enough that I'm only seeing a little portion of the information. I've got to leave it up to those who see all of it and who hear the evidence and who hear the testimony. I've got to leave it up to them. And so, I mean, I don't know. Rob, we discussed this last week. When the judge came out and made the statements, he said, you and I both said, this isn't a good look for Depp right now. I still want to see what happens in this American case and see whether they find in favor of Johnny Depp in the American case or if they find against him. I don't know. But I was surprised to see Warner Brothers move on this today. I was surprised to see Warner Brothers remove Johnny Depp before a second court case happens. I fully thought, and I would have bet money on it, dude. I would have bet money on it. I fully thought Warner Brothers would have waited till after the second court case. Clearly, they believe they've got all the information that they need. Whatever. Rob, your response to this, were you as surprised as me to see this morning? I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Well, I kind of was. I mean, I read somebody had tweeted me Johnny Depp's resignation letter. And I mean, clearly, like, you were saying, Warner Brothers had been thinking about this. They'd obviously been biding their time. They'd already made a decision. And, I guess ultimately in this day and age, the studios can't put themselves in a situation where they're knowingly going into something that they can be openly criticized for. And in this case, Johnny Depp was found guilty of abusing his ex-wife. And in light of that, how do you justify hiring somebody who's a wife beater, for a franchise that is for kids and adults, but, aimed at young people as well. Anybody who's a Harry Potter fan, which is basically the whole world. And I think that in a way it's kind of academic. They didn't have a choice. You think Warner Brothers, studios, they have a hard enough time making good movies and then marketing them and getting people to go. The last thing they need is walking into a situation that has nothing to do with their movie. It has something to do with the star's private life, that all it's going to do is affect all of the hard work that people do when they make movies, all the hard work the marketing people do, and the executives. So, unfortunately, these actions don't allow someone like Johnny Depp to he's no longer a talent that studios can put hundreds of millions of dollars behind, because they're just opening themselves up to public scorn and ridicule, and it's counterproductive to marketing their product. I mean, movies, John, as you know, should be joyous. And when you go to the movies, you should be excited and you should be happy that Warner Brothers is doing a third Fantastic Beasts movie. But in the light of what's happened, it overshadows. None of that work matters, because everyone's going to be like, yeah, Johnny Depp, he's a wife beater. And what do you do?
Let me ask you this. There is still a second court case coming. This time, Johnny Depp is bringing a case in America, in the United States. Right. Let me ask you this. It's a complete theoretical, but still. What happens if Johnny Depp proceeds with his civil case in the U.S. and the U.S. court says, you know what? We believe, after seeing months of evidence and hearing months of testimony, we believe that Johnny Depp is a victim of libel, that we actually believe Johnny Depp has a case here and he was a victim of libel. And let's say this court finds in his favor. Do you think there's any chance at that point that a Warner Brothers maybe walks this back and they pull an Alan Horn and James Gunn, where Alan Horn fires James Gunn and a few months later we find out, oh guys, we made up, it's all good. Like, do you think there's a possibility here if the American case comes to a different conclusion that maybe we could see Johnny Depp back? What do you think?
Look, there are always possibilities. you know. But I think the damage has already been done. It's the court of public opinion or the case. I mean, maybe if he gets exonerated because they don't, but the court case was already lost in the UK. That's not, I mean, Johnny Depp's appealing it, but again, it's not even whether he did or didn't do it, really. It's kind
of, when you're talking about beating your wife, it is about whether you did or didn't do it.
No, of course, but in terms of PR and marketing a movie,
well, yes,
it's already out there. Like in Johnny Depp's case, in terms of his life, sure. But in terms of what Warner Brothers has to deal with, you know, every reporter, like, can you imagine putting Johnny Depp on the press junket circuit? Well, you can't ask him anything about being a wife beater, you know, and that's what the studio's going to have to lead with. No questions about that. And you're just opening yourself up. I mean, they're going to spend $200 million or something on this movie, and they're walking into it knowing they have to deal with this controversy by letting Johnny Depp go and Johnny Depp writing the letter. Then Warner Brothers gets to be like, see, you know, we both parted ways amicably, and we're sorry Johnny Depp is going through this. We wish him well. We'd love to work with him sometime again in the future once we get past all this. And that's all they have to say.
Now, just speaking of Warner Brothers, we'll bring this up here quickly. Warner Brothers did put out a statement. Johnny Depp will depart the Fantastic Beasts franchise. We thank Johnny for his work in the films to date. This sounds like when a sports team fires a coach. We thank the coach for his years of helping the team out, and we wish him well. We thank Johnny for his work on the films to date. Fantastic Beasts 3 is currently in production, and the role of Grindelwald will be recast. The film will debut in theaters worldwide in the summer of 2022. Don't laugh. I've already heard a rumor that it could be Robert Downey Jr. There's nothing to back, but don't run with that. I got nothing to back that up with. Nothing to back that up. I just thought it was interesting. So there's that. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, no, I feel in this day and age, look, people's personal lives are, especially when you're a celebrity, are now open to such scrutiny. And, I'm not defending anybody for bad behavior, but we now live in a world where you have to be extra vigilant if you're in the public eye. And it's just the reality of life, and getting involved in these kind of domestic squabbles, which, by the way, everybody get involved. Everyone has these kind of domestic squabbles happen. But when you're a guy that's getting paid as much as Johnny Depp gets paid, it's part of the job not to let this stuff happen if you want to continue working in movies. It's just the reality of life.
You know what this reminds me of? Because before the court case happened in the UK, I would just get frustrated with all these people who were writing to me about, Johnny Depp's guilty. Johnny Depp's guilty. Look at that. He's guilty. And on the opposite side, Johnny Depp's innocent. Amber Heard's guilty. Amber Heard. And I get these two sides coming at me. And what it reminded me of, because none of these people had actually seen or heard the 95% of the evidence or the facts. And it reminded me of people trying to tell me if a movie was good or not, and all they saw was the trailer. Because we deal with that all the time, right? Like it's like dealing with somebody who's telling you if a movie's good or not, but they actually haven't seen the movie. All they've seen is the trailer. And I'm like, I'll take the opinion of somebody who actually saw the movie. And to me, that's what the court represents here. It's like all these people online who are pro-Johnny, anti-Johnny, all this kind of stuff with their opinions and blah, blah. It's like, listen, all you guys, you're trying to tell me that a movie's good or bad, but you haven't seen it. All you saw was the trailer. You've got this much of the information. I'll wait to hear from people who actually saw the whole movie.
Right.
And that's the situation here. Where now we had a court in the UK, and now we'll have a court in the US that'll actually see the whole movie, that will actually hear all the actual facts, hear all the actual testimony, see all the actual evidence. And then I'm sorry, but once that's done, and I'm still keeping an open mind till the American case are done, because I still think there's a chance they find in favor of Johnny Depp. But when it's all said and done, I'm sorry, internet people. I'm going to take the word of the people who saw the whole movie rather than just the word of people who saw the trailer. And I just think we need to take a breath and see how it turns out. But this is a hot issue, and it's having a direct impact now on some big, high-profile movies like Fantastic Beasts 3. So it'll be interesting to see where this goes. All right, question here is, guys, what do you think about this move? I'm telling you, I'm shocked. I did not expect this. I thought Warner Brothers was going to wait until after the American case. But what do you think about this move that Warner Brothers has removed Johnny Depp from this? How are you feeling about it? Jump down to the comment section below and let me know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that.